Hey, truth seekers, welcome back. Zach here. This video is to expose another ritual sacrifice in the NBA, this time the death of Zachary Simmons, the cousin of Ben Simmons, the number one overall pick by the Philadelphia 76ers, June 23rd, 2016. Less than 48 hours later, on June 25th at 3:30 in the morning, it's reported his cousin was killed in an accidental hit-and-run accident. I continue to expose how the world of sports is surrounded by ritual sacrifice, sometimes of its own players, other times of people related to the players. I just put out a playlist for the NBA Finals showing all of the ritual sacrifices in that period of time that were synced up with the NBA championship. One of those first deaths was Prince that I discussed back in April. Then at the beginning of the NBA Finals, Muhammad Ali. I'll link the playlist. There's many more. In the time I've been making these videos, putting out this information, I've showed numerous celebrity deaths in connection to sports drafts, sports championships across all major sports. It's more than just the NBA. The reason this is so is because all of the pro sports leagues are run by the same gang of Freemasons and Zionist Jews who ritually sacrifice people by the numbers. These people run the world by the numbers, including the murder of innocents. So in this video, we're going to talk about the death of Ben Simmons' cousin just hours after the draft. Where I want to take you back to is the video I made last year at this time. Right after the NBA Finals concluded, when the Warriors defeated the Cavs last year, Harvey Pollack dropped dead. And who this man was the original employee of the NBA going back to 1947. He had always been the score shot clock keeper for the Philadelphia basketball teams. In 1947, it was the Philadelphia Warriors, who are now the Golden State Warriors. Since then, he's been with the Philadelphia 76ers. When he died, he was the only remaining original employee of the first professional basketball league in the United States. It was the BBA. They changed their name to the NBA a few years later. What I showed about his death were a number of things. I talked about the significance of him dying at age 93. 93 corresponds with Saturn, the keeper of time. This number is often found around ritual sacrifice. The word crucifix has a gematria of 93, the symbol of Jesus dying on the cross. Notice he was born in history also March 9th, a date that can be written 3/9 or 9/3. For a little flashback, the name Biggie equals 39 in gematria. He dropped dead on March 9th. Anyhow, notice that Harvey Pollack died June 23rd, 2015, an employee of Philadelphia working for the 76ers at the time. A year later to the day, Philadelphia gets the number one pick. And remember, it had been exposed that the draft was scripted, which it always is. It's nothing new this year. Dikembe Mutombo sent out the tweet early congratulating the 76ers on the number one pick when it hadn't been announced to anybody. So Harvey Pollack, what also stood out about his death that I talked about last year is he died 106 days after his birthday. And 106 is the number of prophecy. Philadelphia, the city, the original capital of the United States, is named from Revelation in the Bible. Revelation 3:7 talks about the Church of Philadelphia, where the city gets its name from. Revelation is the book of prophecy. The gang that rules over us operates by the numbers of prophecy. Prince died earlier this year by the numbers of prophecy. In 2009 on Tavis Smiley, he was quoted saying, "All we can do in this world is go by prophecy." The reason he said that is because Prince is part of the gang, this network of Masons, Zionists, and high places operating by this numerological code. If you haven't seen my work on the NBA Finals this year, 106 was the number for Game 7. When the Cavs were down 3-1, I said don't count them out. It's scripted for them to come back and win. A lot of people made big money taking that advice. It was 14-1 odds then. Here's what I pointed out. Game 7 was to be on June 19th, 2016, what would be in history the anniversary of the birthday of King James, born June 9th, 1566, a date with 106 numerology. It was also to be the 106th Father's Day ever, the day of Game 7, same day as King James' birthday anniversary, 106th. It was going to be the Warriors' 106th game of the season. Again, the Warriors originally from Philadelphia, the city of prophecy. Last year, just before the NBA championship, a 106-mile-per-hour Philadelphia train wreck that was a hoax, a tribute to the NBA Finals and more. This year, a 106-mile-per-hour train wreck in Philadelphia the day before the college championship won by Villanova, who's just outside of Philadelphia. The Warriors play in Oracle Arena that's 106 feet tall. The word oracle has to do with future telling, like prophecy. Oracle equals 54 alone. The Warriors' win streak snapped at 54 games at home at Oracle Arena this year, scripting things by the numbers. Steph Curry and LeBron James, the two-star players for the respective teams in the NBA championship, born 39 months apart in Akron, Ohio, same hospital. I should note that Revelation, the book of prophecy, is based on the 39 books of the Old Testament. LeBron and Steph Curry born 39 months apart. Steph Curry had a whole lot of 39 in his season this year. So this prophecy code, it's very important. I've been talking about it all season. I was making videos about this last year and even before that. You know, the NBA Finals followed it to a T. They even had LeBron James, King James, rolling around on the ground with 10.6 seconds. All part of the script. They hit that exact second because they have a second of margin to work with. You know, fan's going to catch it if they stop it at 11.6 or 10.6 or 10 or what have you. You know, they got a time span to work within to make sure their numbers hit. These games are scripted. LeBron James on the ground at this time, all part of the script of prophecy. Just before this, the game was hung up at 89-89 for a period of time before Kyrie Irving's rigged three-pointer. King James 89, the real King James's birthday. I go into greater detail in other videos. I just want you to understand the significance of what's going on here. You know, Philadelphia prophecy, people dying by the numbers. It's been going on all season. I've documented this in the deaths of Daryl Dawkins and Moses Malone, Philadelphia 76er teammates, the death of Dolph Shays, a Syracuse national who came over to the Philadelphia 76ers, the death of Dion Waiters' brother, the death of so many this season. So many deaths connected to Philadelphia in basketball, radio shows, all sorts of people. So anyway, now getting to Ben Simmons being taken #1 overall, I noticed when they were showing him the whole night of the draft, his face had this bewildered look, like he was afraid. Here it is, him about to go up to the stage, he's getting a hug, his face spells terror. When they're interviewing him the whole time, he didn't seem happy at all. Think about this. Drafted #1 overall, instant millionaire. You know, you're supposed to think these guys are fulfilling their dream. But his whole face, just the whole time, said that something was wrong. And that's not atypical in the world of pro sports. You know, so often these guys' facial expressions are off from what they should be. And that's because they are aware, at least on some level, of the sickness that is going on behind the scenes. So Ben Simmons, he played his college ball at LSU, Louisiana, the French Purchase. I've been talking about the significance of France in the United States this year, the 239th year of the nation's existence, the American Revolutionary War, the French Revolutionary War. These are larger themes that tie into things I've been talking about all year. Just notice that he's from LSU, connecting to the Louisiana Purchase, the relationship between France and the United States. I think that's all part of the symbolism here. Born in Melbourne, Australia, you know, you think about these powers that have conquered the world, France, Britain, Spain, you know, all these territories. Here you have this guy, American father, Australian mother, now Manchurian athlete in the NBA. What I want to point out is the significance of his name in light of Philadelphia. Here's Revelation 3:7, the verse about the church of Philadelphia. And to the angel of the church in Philadelphia write, these things saith that he is holy, he that is true, he that hath the key of David, he that openeth and no man shutteth, and shutteth and no man openeth. This key of David has to do with fulfilling prophecy. You know, prophecy 106, what we're talking about. I want you to notice that the names Simmons and key of David have matching gematria, very special numbers. Numbers important all throughout the history of this nation because this entire nation is scripted around Revelation, the book of prophecy, and so is the Masonic Zionist New World Order agenda. This is their playbook. The name Ben Simmons in gematria sums to 42, like Zionism, like Freemason, also like LeBron James, who we're going to get to. There's a parallel. All night when they were showing these faces in the crowd, these young men about to get drafted, just so many facial expressions like this, you know? Think about it. Millionaires, basketball, and they do not look happy. What is going on? I noticed that from the date of the draft to Ben Simmons' birthday was 27 days. 27, a very fateful number. LeBron had just scored 27 points in Game 7 of the NBA Finals. It was the Cavs' 103rd game of the season. The number 103 is the 27th prime number. Earlier in the day, before Game 7, it was reported that the actor Anton Yelchin was crunched by his own car at age 27, and he had birth numerology of 103, why he was chosen for this planned ritual sacrifice. In the last video I just did, I explained the significance of 27 in light of everything else. They're following the Bible. The New Testament ends with Revelation. There's 27 chapters in the New Testament. The first is Matthew. Matthew has a gematria of 27. New Testament equals 42, like LeBron James. This is where all of this significant coding comes from. His place of birth, Melbourne, Australia, also has gematria of 72 and 207. 0 doesn't count in numerology, a lot like 27. I don't think this is arbitrary. I think this is part of how they've all synced it up, planned it out. These people love their numbers. The date he was born, July 20th, 1996, a date with 142 numerology. When you write out 42, it sums to 142 in gematria. Ben Simmons equals 42. 96 is also a very important year to the Freemasons. Freemason equals 96. You know, big year in terms of this year's NBA. The 96 win record was broken. Kobe, who began his career in 96, retired. Now here comes the new fresh blood. The date he was born, date with a life lesson number of 52. Prophecy, the small way equals 52. 106, the big way. The date he was born, also a date with 123 numerology. The word conspiracy equals 123. So does Ben Simmons, like his name. So many of these Manchurian athletes, their birth numerology matches their name gematria. Something I show again and again and again. Go through my videos, watch what I've exposed. So, you know, these fateful numbers, these sad facial expressions. Speaking of sad facial expressions, look at these faces. Do you know when this was? This was right after the Cavs advanced to the NBA Finals. After they defeated the Raptors in the Eastern Conference Finals, their press conference, all of these guys were hanging their heads. You know what happened the next day? That player out of New Orleans dropped dead, and I showed why he was chosen. Again, New Orleans, Louisiana. I showed how his death was synced up with Will Smith. This Ben Simmons just drafted out of Louisiana. I've been doing videos on all of this, showing how all of these people are being killed by the numbers because they have numbers of significance. So the day after this, the death of the New Orleans Pelican by the numbers. Have that video up if you want to watch it. Supposedly he knocked on the wrong hotel room door. In this press conference, Kevin Love wouldn't even answer questions. He just ignored the reporters. He said, have Kyrie answer it. That's what he kept saying. How can these millionaires going to the championship be hanging their heads? So, now let's get to the death of Ben Simmons' cousin, why he was a fitting sacrifice. ESPN with the 42-minute ticker, I'm sure, you know. They love to code their numbers everywhere. Muhammad Ali equaled 42, got Parkinson's at age 42, born in 42, 42 a number stamped all over black men in a negative way. It's the reason Jackie Robinson wore 42. It represents the N-word in gematria. But here's what's up, Truth Seeker. Here's the death of Ben Simmons. He died on a date with 67 numerology. Blood sacrifice equals 67. Zachary Simmons equals 67. The name of the cousin who just died. You know, earlier this year I predicted that Prince would die soon. I talked about the significance of 67. He died 67 days after the death of Vanity. He died on a date connecting to the NBA Finals, which I pointed out in April. Prince, who said we have to live by prophecy. Lo and behold, Game 1 of the NBA Finals, they announced the cause of death for Prince. These blood sacrifices, they come with everything else. The news, the scripted sports, it's all part of the system. He died in Hoboken, New Jersey. Hoboken has gematria 34 like murder, also like 1. His cousin just went 1. They said he died at 3:30 a.m., a lot like 33. 33, a number of sacrifice, Jesus on the cross at age 33. Typical for this reporting. Killing by the numbers. Zachary Simmons, with the S exceptions, also sums to 85 like basketball. A very fitting death, corresponding with the date, corresponding with basketball. Zachary in simple English gematria sums to 82 games in an NBA season. This is a typo. That should say 102, meaning Zachary Simmons is 184. Excuse that error right there. Some bad late-night math. So then you get the tweet supposedly from Ben Simmons. Hearing the news this morning is a reminder to never forget the important things in life. And here's what I have said many times over doing these videos about these ritual sacrifice with the athletes. The athletes are participating in scripted basketball games, meaning they are major league liars. If you are the one who owns these leagues and controls these players, and you want to make sure that they stay loyal to the lies, think about how you can make sure these people are loyal. How about murdering family members and then having them keep their lips sealed about it? You know? I'm pretty sure that's exactly what is going on. This goes on in all of sports, again and again, endlessly. You know? Watch my video on Chris Paul and his grandfather. You know? This goes on with all of these athletes. Like I said, when Len Bias died, it was a major tribute to Michael Jordan, who got to be a star. Many people died in connection to Michael Jordan in the course of his career, including his father. For these NBA finals, a lot of people just died for LeBron James. This is really what's going on. It is this sick. You can blame the players. They are responsible, but ultimately it is the Masons and Zionist Jews above them who are responsible for this. They've created this code of ethics. They have young men selling out to this code. You know, when you give a young man like Ben Simmons $20 million plus, you know, all this power, all this stardom, all this fame, and all that it brings, you know, you open up their minds, their hearts to this sickness, to this temptation. That's why they pry on the young people. That's why they have young people, you know, on the TV so much. Think about how they take advantage of young people in this world. Have them sign up for these wars and then go off and fight for these, you know, causes that only represent the banker tyrants above us. It's all about taking advantage of the young people and using these young people to condition the even younger people, the little kids who grow up and aspire to be like these people, having no idea what's going on behind the scenes. Here's Ben Simmons and his now dead cousin Zachary Simmons, at least so we're told. And what I notice about Ben Simmons are the colors he's wearing, the colors of New Orleans. Go back and watch my video on the death of Will Smith, the NFL player, by the numbers. The night that Will Smith, the actor, was getting the Lifetime Achievement Award, dressed in gold and black, at a setting with gold and black. It's what's coded in the words, it's the numbers, it's the colors. This is all symbolism to the game. So, it was pointed out that Ben Simmons, the night before the draft, went on Jimmy Fallon and talked about how he had just signed a $20 million contract with Nike. 19-year-old signs a $20 million deal. Earlier this year, LeBron signed the lifetime deal. Check this out. This is what I noticed. With regards to the emphasis on 20 million, which there was a lot of emphasis made about, 20 million, a 19-year-old with 20 million has gematria of 191. And what else does is the Society of Jesus, which is the official name for the Jesuit order, the Catholic order that is responsible for the majority of players in the NBA. When you look at the high schools and colleges the majority of these people went to, including LeBron James, They went to Catholic high schools, Catholic colleges. Earlier this year, I showed how the college championship was scripted to the point. It came exactly 191 days after the Pope left the United States on the Jesuit order's birthday. If you go back and watch the videos I did on the death of Daryl Dawkins and Moses Malone, who played for Philadelphia, I showed how their death synced up with the Pope's visit, which was approaching then. The Pope left from Philadelphia on the Jesuit order's birthday, the Society of Jesus, September 27th, 2015, exactly 191 days before Villanova won the college championship, the school just outside of Philadelphia. Society of Jesus, 191 days after the Society of Jesus' birthday, Villanova wins the championship. Now there's 20 million coding. And I don't think any of this is coincidence. I think it's all part of how it's scripted. As I've pointed out, these athletes are not getting paid what we think they're getting paid. Remember, Paul Pierce equals 106 like prophecy. At the beginning of the year, he signed a $10.6 million contract, and looked how they used him all throughout the NBA Finals to say the Cavs would win. He kept predicting the Cavs would win, the man with the prophecy code on him. $10.6 million contract. What I think is these guys aren't getting any of this money, or, they're getting some. They're getting more than most, but I think these headlines about how much these guys get paid, it's all part of the illusion, part of what keeps the American child aspiring to be an athlete and a millionaire. It sells the false dream, the American dream. LeBron James equals 42. He signed a 2-year, $42 million contract, supposedly. I mean, just look at these athletes. Look at Floyd Mayweather, who makes $100 million a fight, has a car full of $100,000, or has a garage full of $100,000 cars, and then says on national TV that he's not even allowed to drive them. When he says that, it's like, well, who's not allowing you to? You make $100 million a fight. Why can't you drive one of these $100,000 cars? It's because it's all a show. These guys are billboards for the banker tyrants who rule over us and who use these sports games to sell ad space so that we go out and consume and keep them in power. The day that Ben Simmons was on the show announcing this $20 million contract, June 22nd, 2016, was a date with 44 numerology. Earlier this year, I pointed out how LeBron James signed a lifetime contract with Nike, the first person to ever sign a lifetime contract with anybody in the history of the world, meaning Nike owns him until death. Imagine the insurance policy, Earlier this year, when that contract was signed, it was right after Nike turned 44 years old. And I've been talking about the significance of 44 in LeBron James. In Game 7 of the NBA Finals, he got this early tribute in the game. The score was 22-22 with 4.4 seconds left. LeBron has chosen one tattooed on his body. Chosen one equals 44. The chosen one gets the lifetime contract right after Nike turns 44 years old. What you need to start to see is all of these things are interwoven. There's no separation between these mega corporations, the world of sports, government. It's all Freemasons in high places in bed together, controlling the world through illusion, deception. The nickname King James also has that gematria 44. Last year, 2014-15 season, where the Cavs lost in the NBA Finals, LeBron scored 44 points in Game 1. They made a big deal about his 44th point, which came in cleanup time when the game was already over. It's all giveaways of the script if you pay attention. Why is the announcer screaming about LeBron with 44 points when the game's over? I mean, who cares? Since I just brought up the Catholic Church, you should know this as well. In the history of the Catholic Church, there was a 33-day pope. This young man just now dead at 3:30 in the morning. The 33-day pope died September 28th, 1978, a date with 44 numerology. The word kill equals 44. This stuff, by the numbers, it's been going on for centuries. It's more than sports. Sports are just part of it. The other thing I want to point out is how the Cavs won Game 7 of the NBA Finals 93-89. Again, King James equals 89. It was King James's birthday. But again, 93, Saturn, the keeper of time. Last year, June 23rd, right after the finals, Harvey Pollack, dead at age 93, born March 9th. The corporation Nike is headquartered in the 33rd state, Oregon, and their symbol, the swoosh, is one of the rings of Saturn. That's what the illustration is. Part of the ring of Saturn going around the planet. Saturn is the keeper of time. Saturn equals 93, Nike 39. You better believe it. This final score of 93 to 89, it even incorporates that. You know, one of the most important reasons for these sports is to sell consumerism, sell a false understanding of the way this world works. You know, for most men, it's the distraction that keeps them happy enough to go to their job the next day, school, whatever it is. You know, most people in this world grind. They don't have much to live for. They look forward to their sports games that they don't know are rigged. With regards to Nike having this Saturn symbolism and it being their 44th year of existence as a company, Saturn, keeper of time, the word clock has gematria of 44. College championship this year was on 4-4. When you write out April 4th, it sums to 144. When you write out 44, it sums to 144. The star player for Villanova was in his 144th consecutive game, an NCAA record. The word time in Jewish gematria equals 144. Think about how many minutes and hours there are in a day. 24 hours, 60 minutes, 24 times 60 is 1,440. 144. Time, you know? 12 hours in the morning, 12 hours at night. 12 times 12 is 144. These numbers have a rhyme and reason to them. 4 represents foundation, why it's associated with time. Think about the 4 seasons. So here's another point we need to make. When Ben Simmons just went on Jimmy Fallon the day before the draft, he was wearing this outfit. These colors are very much like the Cleveland Cavaliers colors. Cavaliers just advanced over the Warriors, originally from Philly. They lost to them last year in the NBA championship, just after the train wreck. Then LeBron starred in a movie Trainwreck. There's all this synchronicity. This article about Ben Simmons, though, made the point that Carmelo Anthony was just on Jimmy Fallon, May 19th, and wore the exact same sweater. The exact same sweater. As I've been pointing out, these athletes, they are owned and operated. They are Ken dolls. You know, their entire lives are advertisements. That's why these trends start, and you start seeing all these NBA players in their press conferences wearing the same glasses. These people are owned by giant corporations that use them to sell merchandise. Carmelo Anthony was also the draft pick right behind LeBron James. Something to think about. He plays for the Knicks. As I've said, LeBron James's future is with the Knicks. When I said that, I didn't mean it will be the next season. I'm saying someday we're going to see LeBron with the Knicks. It's been foreshadowed. He'll be there. It's probably when success will return to New York. Maybe when Carmelo's gone and LeBron's there. The day that Carmelo was on there was also May 19th, the 139th day of the year. Freemasonry equals 139. LeBron got a triple-double that day. Triple-double equals 139. Did a video showing how all of LeBron's triple-doubles this season were scripted according to the upcoming Game 7 championship. But this is really what's going on, you know? Ritual murder, ritual sports games. If you haven't seen the work I've done on the NBA Finals and all it's connected to, you need to check it out. I show how it's synced up with the Super Bowl, Brexit, the Orlando shooting. What comes through the TV is a web of interconnected information. Sports has always been synced up with news and current events. It's all scripted. We, the people of this world, are living out a very sick agenda put on by these Masons, these Zionists, these Jesuits. And as long as this goes on for, there will be ritual sacrifice by the numbers. So RIP to this young man. You know? You see what's going on, you can explain the facial expressions. Earlier this year, before the Super Bowl, in one of my videos, I talked about Eli Manning's facial expressions all throughout his NFL career. How even after he wins the Super Bowl, he looks like he's depressed and wants to cry. And what happened this year after his brother won the Super Bowl? Do you remember? It was a story for a week. How come Eli Manning wasn't celebrating with the people in the press box and turned his back on the field? These people are born into it. You can tell that a lot of them don't like it. They do it because, just like you You know, you're born into your circumstance. How many of you end up stuck in a job connected to your family that you don't want to be a part of? This stuff happens on all throughout this world on different levels. And on this level, it's a very high paid level, it's a very celebrity level, and it's a very, very sick level. You know, I don't need to say why. You get it. Until next time, Truth Seeker.